Yeah, Coach. Just do you have any injury updates on some of the individuals coming out of the game, and how you plan to get ready this week for the Panthers?
So I got so much of it going on right now, led with people and moving parts. Which ones you're exactly talking about?
Malone, I guess, was the big one coming
D'Lo
up.
is going to miss time. Had the big time injury, so he'll be going to IR. That was the big one. The other ones, Chris came out good, really good. Obviously, no further issues. I mean, obviously he'll have some limitations in practice and be dealing with the toe thing, but he played well, went in there and gave us everything. I mean, you can't say enough positive things about Chris and how he played in that football game and stuff that he went through last week, and being able to play for us was absolutely outstanding. Burge will be day-to-day this week, get a chance to see what's going on. He looks better, feels better. No promises there, but that'd be the one that I could think about with Burge. Other than that, Sam Roberts got hurt in the game. Obviously we have to make a decision there and see how he goes and see what's going on there with Big Roberts. And then obviously Alf was a concussion in the game, so he's going through the protocol. As a reminder of that, I don't think there was anything else in the game.
Not from the game. Last week we were talking about Storm. Do you think he'll go on?
Storm will probably end up having to go back to IR. I think didn't go as well as we wanted it to go, and how it worked out. So he'll end up going back on IR at some point. I think that probably happened today. I think his window closes today. So we'll probably figure that out for ourselves today. Anything else I'm missing, injury-wise?
Leonard Floyd.
Leonard was the hamstring last week. Obviously this week we'll see. We were very hopeful for it to be this week. We obviously got to give him more time. He's a vet, so I'll give him all the way up until showtime. Today he'll probably be out, and then we'll get the. I don't want to say the official status. I'm gonna screw it up and get in trouble somehow. But we'll give you the status of Leonard Floyd and everything is happening. But don't plan on seeing him today. Give him to tomorrow. Give him all the way up into the week to figure out what is actually going to be with Floyd.
And Mike Hughes.
Mike Hughes, feel much better about it today. He practiced last week, did some stuff for us, so feel better about him getting involved, getting ready for him to go, and alleviating some of the soreness that he had last week and being able to be better.
Yeah, Coach, as you get ready for the Panthers, what will be some of the issues? They have some good returners too. You had the return issues last game.
We did. We have return issues and we have running issues. All the things they do really well.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are running the ball as well as you can. Just about run in the last couple of weeks with Rico and some of those guys that got going on, Chuba. Those guys have been doing a nice job. They're also getting some gadget plays out of their young receiver, being able to get some awesome rushing yards there. And then obviously Bryce creates those same problems with being able to scramble and do all the things that they can do from that standpoint. So these guys present a big challenge for us on defense and in the return game, like you just mentioned. They were doing some really nice things. So that'd be a nice spot for us to be able to go get some major corrections from last week in order to go find a way to try to win.
What have your conversations been like with Michael Penix? Because it felt like in that press conference it was the most down and frustrated I've ever seen.
He is extremely hard on himself. He is a very high character, very accountable, to almost to the point of fault at times. There's a lot of things that have to go on with the operation of peace when it comes to offense. And he's controlling a lot and doing a lot of things for a young football player and watching his development go and what he's able to handle and able to do and able to get us into and other things he's able to get us to with the good plays, the bad plays. There'll be some up and downs, obviously, when you're a young quarterback and you're going through those motions. But I definitely had to talk to him about being that hard on himself in those moments, in those times, right? This league is full of adversity, and you're going to deal with those adverse moments. And I think it's up to us to be able to help him through those situations, to let him know, we have to make some of those plays for him as well, both as players and as coaches, to be able to alleviate some of the problems that he thinks is having, And then the obvious ones, the ones that he wants to throw back, you can't do anything about them because he's such a talented thrower. He wants to settle up and get his feet right and be able to get those things done so he can get those balls thrown, the correct ones, the ones that he wants to do for himself, that he puts a lot of pressure on himself that way. Just let them know those things are going to happen. They happen to the best of quarterbacks. And the reality of it is that none of us know what it's like to be a quarterback in the National Football League. So you got to be able to have him speak with people that are been in his shoes or people that are in his shoes. And when he's able to do those things, that provides the comfort for him. That is definitely including his coaches. That includes other guys that have played the position. That includes all type of things that you can have happen for the young man to be able to support him that way. Because let's be honest, none of us can take a snap, make a play call, throw it, go through all the gymnastics that's required to have as a quarterback, and that's why those guys are special.
Is that something you do with him, you pull up tape too to help them see it, or like things like that when you're breaking it down with them?
So it's a lot for quarterbacks. They got such a visual memory, right? It's like, when you talk to a quarterback, they can explain every part of the play, the details of it, what happened, what the adjustment should have been, how we made the adjustment, how I went through my check. It's easier to even talk to him without the tape. When you talk to him with the tape, it's usually in front of a group, in front of people, in front of that room, that setting, all those type of things you can do. A very, very good tool. But when you're able to try to put yourself in his shoes, to have to remember the moment like it's happening live, like he does extremely well, those are things you like to talk to him, and it provides a little bit of relief for him, because I'm letting him know, like, it's okay to be vulnerable in that moment, but at the same time, don't be so disgruntled and hard on yourself that you blame yourself for everything. And it's like, it's the reasons why after those tough press conferences, like, it is my job to go protect him. And it's like, hey, man, he played well. We can get better. He's doing a really good job as a young football player in this league, and especially a quarterback.
Raheem, do you remember the first time you had like one of those conversations with him about, because I mean, you obviously accountability is a good thing, but there's a way to manage that, right? So you remember having that conversation for the first time with him?
I think the first time he's actually got a chance to show you guys some real vulnerability was probably last week.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out, he's always accountable, he does all those things, but I tell him all the time, it's our job to help him as well, from the other player standpoint, from the coach's standpoint, from all of us. So, realistically, when the thoughts happen before you even talk to Michael, those conversations are had amongst our leadership group, amongst our coaching staff, amongst our players, with our players, and after that with the players. And I think those are the most important moments. So the first time you have it, it's just ongoing, right? Where communication lacks, negativity fills the void. And I want to make sure that never happens with our quarterback or with anybody. So the constant communication, being able to help him throughout the process of everything, of growing in this league is something I want to be helping with.
His confidence is one of his great traits, right?
Yes.
How do you, as a coach, make sure, because there's going to be things that out of his control, out of your control, that are going to happen, how do you make sure he stays as much on an even keel as he can?
I don't worry about the confidence factor or the even keel part. I do worry about the extreme ups and downs, right? Because it's like me, right? I don't always feel like I look to you guys. I'm never going to show you how I feel at those moments, because I've been doing this for a lot longer than Mike, right? Michael's half my age, crazy for me to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been standing in front of you guys for a very long time and got a lot of experience with being able to hide those type of emotions and be able to get up here and express my opinions very clearly and very open and honest to you guys as I possibly can be at the time, with the amount of truth that I want to give you, right? And then before that, I'm probably having those moments where I don't feel great.
Yeah.
Or I do want to maybe choke a D-led or something. Not really D-led, love you.
So you need the poker face.
Yes, but it's just but you got to be able to, take some time, be able to have that emotion, be able to talk to that, be able to deal with that, and then be able to come up here and know what's happening, how to correct it, and be able to move on. And as a young coach, you gave yourself those moments you gave yourself up until that Monday was over to be able to feel a little bit of anger. And then as you get into those higher and higher roles, whether it's quarterback, whether it's head coach, whatever it is, any type of form of a leader, you better be able to transition a little bit quicker than that.
Do you feel like the issues that are going on with him in the offense, is it more of an experience mental thing compared to a physical thing? Is it half and half? How would you kind of evaluate that?
So our biggest problem right now is third down, right? You can just
Yeah.
put a nail on that, right? Because we don't have any problem moving the football. We got no problem throwing the football. We got, we have moments where we run the football like the best team in the football league. We have moments we struggle to run the football, but you can always identify some things and fix those things, right? Right now we have the last couple of weeks we have some issues with third down, so we got to figure out how to be our best when our best is required at those best moments, right? The money down situations. If we fix the money down situations, that'll fix a lot of our permeating problems that we've had the last couple of weeks. That'll keep us on the grass. That'll alleviate. That'll give us our time possession that we want. That'll give us more plays on first and second down. That gets the yards that everybody else wants. That gets the touches to the people that we got to get the touches to. That gets us down the grass. That scores touchdowns. That helps our defense out. Helps our special teams out in the moments, even though we didn't help ourselves last week. Those are all the things that we got to be able to do. So every problem, you got to be able to identify those problems. You got to be able to go fix them. And we haven't been able to do that the last week, and that's on us. That's on us collectively and all together. So each one of those third downs has a different entity. The biggest thing I can tell you is stay out of third and long, like we've been in, and we've been in the most in the National Football League over the last couple of weeks.
I saw it come across the wire. There was a few wide receivers that were worked out. Is that an area that you looking to add or would like to add something?
It's crazy because I feel like we work out people almost every single week, and that's just something that Terry and the whole staff does. We're always constantly trying to find people, right? So you go get people, you go work them out, you get excited about them. You're thinking about future plans, you're thinking about what could happen, what's happening down the road. The amount of injuries that we talk about, I get up like I talk with D-Led every week, you better have some answers, right? And you got to have people to make sure your practice squad is ready to go, and you give people time to be able to move up. Just last week we had an emergency with our snapper with the baby situation, and he's having his baby yesterday and had it, and everything is great, right? But like, you just never know, so you're just constantly doing those things, and those are the reason you work out people, so you can make sure you can continue to get better. Obviously the receiver thing will come up because we hadn't played as well as the number 2 spot, so to speak. So that's always going to be better. But got a lot of confidence in what we're going to do with Mooney. Got a lot of confidence in Kyle on a great bounce back day, and even the bounce back halfway through the game. We just can't have the flaws in the beginning. So I got a lot of confidence in the guys, and Seal's getting out there, getting his feet wet, doing some different things for us, helping us out. And we got to get Casey going and some of the stuff he's done in the offseason that we saw. So obviously, I definitely understand the question, but we're always looking to improve the roster. We're always looking to get better.
We've talked so much about Bijan Robinson this season, but what kind of season is Tyler Algier having? He had 2 touchdowns in Berlin.
He's a stud. Tyler is the least talked about superstar in our football team probably, and he's one of those guys that just comes to work every day and does his job. And we talk about these operational executions, these operational piece, and it's just what Tyler is, right? Wherever you put him, whatever you ask him to do, he's able to go out there and have that resiliency and that toughness. Is able to just play the game, play the play, whatever it is, and be able to go. So that's why we love him. He's awesome.
How long? I guess, realistically, do you look at the tape from the last time you played the Panthers, or do you say we were a completely different team from then?
No, you definitely look at it because you got to figure out what happened, what went wrong early, right? And a little bit of that was some resiliency of missing those 2 early, kicks. You drove the ball down really well, and you miss a kick, and that's kind of disheartening. Then you drop down again, you miss another one. That's disheartening. And it's disheartening for your offense, but your defense showed great resiliency that day. Had a couple turnovers that day, which was uncharacteristic. I think we had 2 that day, interceptions. No, it was 2 interceptions for sure. One for a pick 6, which is uncharacteristic, as we know, for 10 games in or 11 games in, whatever's for Michael. We had another pick down the field. Gave a couple short fields, whatever the case may be, and our defense was able to go out there and show great resiliency and stand up and play, halfway decent on just an awful day, right? So you got to take that from it, but you definitely got to go look at it so you don't come out and start that way. You don't come out and finish that way, and you can come out and find ways to thrive and get better. So you never wash it, you never put it away. It's there. It's on the cut-ups this week, and you better go look at it.
Rico Dowdle is obviously he's
Baller.
Season, right? How do you take what you've done, what happened last week, and turn it into potentially a positive moving in?
It's going to be the same thing every week, right? You got to find a way to fix what you did the week before. Win, lose, or draw, right? We were that close away from winning that game. We still would be fixing the 300-yard rushing day that the Indianapolis Colts had on us, right? So, you got to find a way to stop that, eliminate that, shut that down. You got to find a way to give yourself extra tools, extra bullets to be able to go stop Rico. Rico's had, I think, 2 200-yard rushing games. I think he's rushed for the most amount of yards since a certain week or whatever the case may be. He's done some really explosive things. He played against his former team. He's playing like a man possessed. When you're not playing him, that's the kind of guys you cheer for, right? The guys you didn't know that just bumped out of nowhere and just started balling. And that's what he's been able to do. But for the team, I think just the natural resiliency to go out there and be able to play every single week and find ways to correct the problems that you had from the week before without making new ones.
Do you have a Divine Diablo update?
Yeah, he comes off of his window next week, I believe. The 4 weeks is up next week.
Yeah, the 11.
I don't want to lie to you, so you can check that later. If I'm lying, just don't write about it.
Went on week 8.
If I'm lying about it, don't worry about it. But I believe it's looking good. It's looking good. And then obviously, hopefully, I'm talking about that to you next week.
So week 12, we could see him back.
I hope so. I think so. I believe so. Don't want to give you any guarantees. Not Dr. Hammond, but it looks good.
Anything else? As far as special teams goes, how much of that is correctable? How much of that is just a week by week thing?
That is very correctable. That was all correctable issues. Holding leverage, ripping off, making some of those tackles. Not allowing guys to make critical plays at critical moments on the return game is very correctable. How we cover, how we punt, getting the ball outside the numbers and things, getting the ball wherever we want to get it in order to get the guys where they can get lined up so they can make those tackles. So all of the correctable things, and I know we can go out there and correct those things and get it done, especially with the people we have, Mike Ford Juniors, the Felipe Franks, We got some real big-time leaders from a special team standpoint in this team that can go out there and fix those things for us.
And then thoughts about just the Panthers on defense and just what you've seen from them.
You know, they've done a really nice job, right? You know, they were much maligned last year. It's got a lot of critical thoughts about them, and then they come back this year and be able to bounce back and really, you know, put together really good coaching, put together some players out there that believe, and they're out there playing very hard. You know, obviously they got big Derek Brown back in the middle. You know, Ashawn Robinson, a bunch of guys that I know very well from L.A. You know, obviously guys playing at a very high level, whether it be Nick Scott, whatever the case may be, you know, all out there playing for those guys. And they've put together a system that they know well. They got some new guys out there playing. Their corner is playing very well to the boundary and doing a lot of really good things. And he had a nice game versus last week. And I can't wait to see the matchup between him and Drake again.
What point in your career did you get used to the ups and downs and dealing with us and holding your emotions in?
It's been very early, you know, to be honest with you. You get into the game when you're 2002, when you're whatever age you are, and you find out very quickly that you cannot ride the emotional roller coaster because these 6 days come very fast and you get ready to deal. I had very good mentorship and leadership around me, whether it was Mike Tomlin, whether it was Monty Kiffin, whether it was Rob Marinelli, whether it was Joe Barry, any of those guys that was winning Tampa, you know, John Gruden on offense and all of that staff. And you got to be able to flip the switch pretty quick and move on. You got to be able to correct it. You got to be able to stand in front of people and talk about it. And you better be ready to deal with it as we go out there. We're entertainers, right? So when we go out and entertain, man, like none of that matters. That's all gray matter. And you got to go out there and you got to do what you need to do to try to win football games.
Just if I can follow up on that.
Yes.
You said you had to talk to Michael about that.
Not had to, chose to. You know, like it's a different, Charles. Like having to talk to him doesn't mean I didn't want to, Chuck. You know, like I want to go out there and make sure we are in a place that is better, and I want to make sure we can learn how to grow every single day. You can't have regular relationships and expect to do extraordinary things. And if we got regular relationships, we won't be great. And like, in order for him to know that I got his back and everybody in his organization got his back, and really this fan base got his back, that's the only thing that matters. Didn't mean to cut you off, Charles.
Well, I was going to lead into, do you feel like he got that message? Do you feel like he received it the right way?
Yeah, I love it because like we talked about, you know, after the Carolina game, that was a big adversity day, right? And like and talked about that bounce back on that Monday and what it looked like, and it propelled us to a win, and how he came back and how he addressed his team and how he took ownership of it. And it's just more learning experiences, right? And like, no matter what happens, no matter where you're at, as we clearly can see, you can be in Berlin, no matter what it is, you got to be able to accept it, be able to deal with it, trust your process, trust the people around you, and get ready to go.
Yeah, Coach, for the run defenses, do you is it a scheme thing? Can y'all?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Fixing the run defense.
Yes.
Do you look at the scheme, or do you add more power to the scheme, or is it a speed issue?
Well, you know, last week it was a bunch of different things. It was not like one thing you put your finger on when it's a big day like that from a big time back. You know, a lot of it was, you know, Taylor. Let's be honest. You know, he made some people miss. You got to get him on the ground. You know, there were some scheme things that happened there. There was some obvious scramble situations from the quarterback spot that, you know, you got to be able to watch a guy that can move around as well as he can, that can be explosive. You know, there was some desperation situations where you can find a way to get better plays out there and do different things for all of us. So, like, there's a lot of different things you can do. You know, some scheme, you know, some play, some coaching, some everything. You know, when you have that kind of day, you know, everybody, all hands on deck, take accountability.
What have you seen from Jalen Walker? Since he's come back from injury, 3 sacks.
I'm fired up about how he's playing, and I hate for the young man that he hadn't been able to, you know, get some wins with the way he's been playing. You know, all those guys up front, they playing hard, playing physical is what he's been able to do. He's brought us some real leadership, some authentic leadership from a young guy. He's bringing us a style of play, and he's turned into that leader that we thought we can be when we drafted him. And like I love watching him grow and mature here as a Falcon.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Raheem. Appreciate it.